It's hard to believe I've been doing safety now for over 15 years. And in that amount of time, I discovered one central key point. And whether it was as a safety manager or a safety director or as a regulatory compliance director or as a consultant, whatever it is, this one overarching reason really jumped out at me. This is what safety is. I want to share it with you in this video. Hey guys, thanks so much for checking out Help with OSHA. Please, if you haven't already, go download a free OSHA audit checklist. This is the best way to prepare your team for an unexpected OSHA visit. Go to my website, helpwithosha.com. You can download a free form today that will explain exactly what you need to do to prepare your team for an unexpected OSHA visit. Now, let's talk about the one thing that I discovered, kind of the central theme that is safety. Safety means a lot of things to a lot of different people. When I first got started in safety, the thing I kept hearing over and over and over again was, safety is common sense. Safety is common sense. In fact, I'll tell you a funny story. When I first got started, when I started my consulting business as a trainer, my tagline was bringing common sense to safety. And my thinking was really clear. I wanted to simplify OSHA regulations because they're complicated. And so I thought, hey, if I explain that I'm making it simple, I'm bringing common sense to safety, then people will understand what I'm doing. The problem is, a lot of people think safety is common sense. And so what they do is they're like, I don't need to do that. I don't need written programs. I don't need training. I don't need inspections. This is all common sense. And then they have a serious accident and they realize somewhere my reality and what I think, they're not lining up. And so safety is not common sense. If it was, people wouldn't get hurt the way they do. People get hurt because usually they're in a hurry. They're in a rush to get something done. And because they're in a hurry, they take a shortcut. And when they take a shortcut, they get hurt. And when they get hurt, they go, why did you do that? That was stupid. Why didn't you use some common sense? And it doesn't work like that. A plus B doesn't equal C. It just doesn't. Safety is not about common sense. If it was, people wouldn't get hurt. The second thing it's not about, a lot of safety managers and safety people get into it and they think it's just about compliance. Safety is not about compliance. If I give you more rules to follow, is that going to make you safer? Maybe, maybe not. Depends on whether you follow the rules. You see, compliance isn't a bad thing. Common sense isn't a bad thing. The problem is people think, well, if I stress the need that this is the rule, this is the regulation, this is the law, then my people are just going to do it. It doesn't work like that. Just like it doesn't work like common sense. Now, let me tell you an interesting story. I've got a 15-year-old that's got his driver's permit, and it's one of the scariest things in the world. But he's a safe driver, he's a good driver, but he's new, and he doesn't know a lot because he doesn't have a lot of experience. And if you get a brand new 15-year-old that got their permit, guess what? When you get out on the highway and the speed limit is 55, they want to go 55. Even though their entire life, they know that you always go a little bit more than the speed limit, it's kind of been drilled in their head. I need to stay 55. That's the limit. I need to come to a complete stop at the stop sign. And they will go through. In fact, they are so keen on the rules that as a parent who's been driving 40 plus years, when you get behind the wheel, your 15-year-old will start telling you things you're not doing right. Now, the funny thing is, sometimes they catch you doing the wrong thing, but sometimes you do something because you've learned, hey, I'm going to look 3 or 4 times before I dart out of this busy intersection, right? And they're like, well, you only got to look 3 times. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss something the first time. And when you're talking about going with the flow of traffic, sometimes you have to go with the flow of traffic. Is that out of compliance? Yeah, it's out of compliance. And it's hard to explain that to a new driver. Well, don't misunderstand me. I'm not telling you to break any of the OSHA regulations. They're important and they're there for a reason. But they are worthless if you come at it just with a ruler getting ready to slap people on the hand for doing the wrong thing. If they don't understand why the rule exists, they don't care about it. Now you can say, well, if you break that rule, then I'm going to get you written up or I'm going to get you terminated. Well, now you've just created a sense of rebellion, right? Because I'll be honest, if I don't know why the rule exists, now I'm thinking I want to break it. And a lot of people are wired like that. So it helps to understand compliance isn't a bad thing, but you can't manage by compliance. Just like you can't manage by common sense. It's not that it's a bad thing, it just doesn't work to manage. Now, the third thing that I want to go over. Safety is not knowledge. It's not information. Recently, the world has been taken over by AI and by chatbots and by all things that you can type in and look for the answer. 10 years ago or 15 years ago, it was Google, right? You start typing things in, you're searching for things, you can find the answer, boom, 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 they can find it quicker than the instructor can. Knowledge is not a bad thing, but knowledge isn't safety. If you understand what the rules are and you understand what to do, does that make you safer? It can. It can. If I could magically wave a wand and give you more knowledge about lockout, tagout, or take this as an example. If I have a binder full of lockout, tagout procedures for your work area and I give you the binder, I go, all your answers are in the binder. There's the binder. Can I walk away and know, well, they got the binder. They're going to follow it. No. Just because they have the information, because they have the knowledge, doesn't mean that they're actually going to do it. So just to recap, safety is not common sense. A lot of people think it is. It's not. If it was, people wouldn't get hurt. Is common sense a good thing? Yes. Safety is not compliance. If it was, just telling people that if they break the rule, they're going to get their hand slapped, that would fix it. It's not about compliance. Compliance, you cannot manage by compliance. And then the third thing we just talked about, knowledge. Safety is not about knowing more information. It's not about having more binders or more written programs or more procedures. Can procedures make you better? Absolutely. Can knowledge make you better? Absolutely. But that's not the core thing behind safety. And I just want to go on a little bit of a tangent now because I feel like this is something that comes up where people realize, if I go to school longer, if I go get a PhD in health and safety, right? I got it all up here. But I don't actually do it in the workplace. It's not really helping anybody. Knowledge up here, if it's not acted on, it doesn't help. And so that brings me to what it is. So we talked about what it's not. It is not, safety is not common sense. Safety is not compliance. Safety is not more information or knowledge. It's not. In fact, these are all things you know. Safety is not what you know. It's not up here. That's not what it is. The big discovery that I've made over the last 15 years, and when I coach safety managers and I try to talk to them about how to change the culture in their plant and what to do, what I really focus on is simple. It's not complicated, it's simple. Safety is not what you know. Safety is what you do. And to flip it over, safety is behavior. What are people doing? What are people doing? People have to act on the knowledge they receive. if you have a written program and it hits all the issues of compliance and it provides knowledge to your employees and it's got some nice common sense baked into it, that program has to be trained. That information has to be distributed out to your employees. Usually that's done through a training program. So however you train your employees, you're trying to get that knowledge to them. Why do you want it for them? You don't care if they have the binder. You don't care if they have it in here. All you care about is if they do it. If it doesn't happen on the shop floor, if it doesn't happen on the processing floor, it's worthless. It's worthless. Now you can have an audit where somebody comes in and checks your paperwork and they're like, oh yeah, you've been doing all your written programs, all your procedures, but why do you have 7 accidents in the past month? Because people aren't doing it. And so, again, what I learned, it's all about what you do. If you want to be a great safety manager, you have to coach your people so that they are doing what they need to do, not just knowing what they need to do. And now this is the one piece of information I want to give you as a bonus because it just flows out of who I am. When I first got started, I had a manager that was really a mentor. And he told me something that I'm sure he read and got passed down, and I've read it in other books since then. He told me something that really stuck with me. David, if you want people to do something, you have to make it easier to do the right thing than to do the wrong thing. Now let me say that again because that's gold. If you want people to do something, you have to make it easier for them to do the right thing than the wrong thing. If you want people to do lockout tagout, they need to have access to locks and tags. They need to have access to the procedures. They need to know how to do it. It needs to be an expectation. It needs to be something we do. If they have to walk all the way to the other side of the building to get a lock and tag, and they don't know where the procedure is, and they're going to have to email somebody or go knock on the office door to get the procedures, they're probably not going to do it. You've got to make it easier to do the right thing than the wrong thing. Let me give you another story, okay? Last one of the day. This is a bonus. Let's say, for instance, that I've got some boxes that are on top of the mezzanine, right? I got a ladder right there leaning against the wall. Can I get the boxes? Yeah, climb up and get the boxes. Let's say I don't have a ladder. There's no way to get a ladder. There's no way to get a platform. There's no way to get up there to get the boxes. And then I look over and I see a forklift. And I go, hey Eddie, come here. I got an idea. I need to get those boxes. See those boxes? I need to get those boxes. I need you to pick me up on the fork so I can grab those boxes. Now, when you hear that story, the hair on the back of your neck should stand up and you're like, ugh, don't do that. That's stupid. That's not common sense. That's against the compliance regulations. I taught you better than that. Why are they making that bad choice? Because it's easy. Because it's easy. Safety comes down to behavior. Safety comes down to what you do. Think about how you can make your training classes, and when you give information, it doesn't just become something they know, it becomes something they act on. That's how you really make a difference in your company. Now, until we talk again, first, go download my free OSHA audit checklist. Go to helpwithosha.com. You can download that free checklist. And then do everything you can to keep the people you work with safe, because no one should get hurt at work.